Welcome to the perfect prison. What if I told you that in 1921, a Russian writer created a world so terrifyingly perfect that it inspired Orwell's 1984, Huxley's Brave New World, and practically every dystopian story you've ever read? Yet most people have never heard of it. Meet D503, our protagonist, who isn't even allowed a real name, just a number. He lives in the one state, a society made entirely of glass buildings where privacy is literally impossible. Every citizen wears identical uniforms, follows identical schedules, and even their thoughts are supposedly identical. Imagine living in a world where your bedroom walls are transparent. You eat synthetic food at precisely timed intervals. Mathematical formulas determine who you can love and for how long. Even your facial expressions are regulated by Law D503. Isn't complaining, though. He's the chief engineer building a spaceship called the Integral, designed to spread this perfect society to other planets. He's writing a journal to document this glorious achievement. But here's where it gets interesting. The crack in the glass wall, everything changes when D503 meets I330, a woman whose very existence seems to defy the laws of mathematics that govern their world. She has something no one in the one state should possess: unpredictability. 1 to 330 does something absolutely forbidden. She makes D503 feel not the scheduled, regulated emotions approved by the one state, but chaotic, irrational, dangerous feelings that have no place in a perfect mathematical society. She introduces him to concepts that shouldn't exist: imagination beyond state-approved thoughts, desire that can't be calculated, the terrifying possibility that perfection might actually be imperfect. But who is I330 really? Why does she seem to know secrets about the one state that even its most loyal citizens do unknow? And why is she paying attention to D503, a man who should be nothing more than a perfectly functioning cog in the machine? The underground revolution. Here is where Zamyatin drops a bombshell that will make you question everything you thought you knew about utopias and dystopias. 1 to 330 isn't just a nonconformist. She's part of an underground resistance called the Meki. They've discovered something shocking beyond the green wall that surrounds their city. There are people living free, wild, and completely human. The one state's perfect society is built on a lie. Outside their glass prison, there's a world where people have body hair. They live without schedules. They experience genuine emotions. They have children naturally, not through state breeding programs. D503 finds himself torn between two worlds: the mathematical certainty of the one state and the chaotic freedom of humanity. But here's the twist that makes this story absolutely brilliant. The operation, the one state S response to growing dissent is both genius and terrifying. They perform a surgery to remove the imagination from every citizen's brain. They call it the operation, a final solution to eliminate the very thing that makes humans human. D503 faces an impossible choice: submit to the operation and return to blissful, mindless conformity, join the revolution, and risk everything for a freedom. He's not even sure he wants to try to find a third path in a world that only recognizes absolutes. But here's what makes Zamyatin a genius. He doesn't give us easy answers. Instead, he asks questions that are more relevant today than ever. Is happiness worth freedom? Can a society be too perfect? What happens when safety becomes more important than humanity? Without spoiling the devastating conclusion, I'll tell you this: Zamyatin's ending is both inevitable and shocking, hopeful and heartbreaking. It's the kind of ending that will have you staring at the wall for hours, questioning everything you believe about society, technology, and human nature. The final pages reveal truths about D503, I330, and the one state that recontextualize everything you've just experienced. It's an ending that doesn't just conclude the story, it explodes it. Why this book will change your life: here's what makes we absolutely essential reading. It predicted our digital age, written in 1921. It describes surveillance, social media conformity, and algorithmic control. With frightening accuracy, it influenced everyone. Orwell admitted, inspired 1984. And you can see its DNA in everything from Black Mirror to The Hunger Games. It's surprisingly modern. The questions it raises about technology, privacy, and individual freedom are more relevant now than when it was written. It's beautifully written, despite being a dystopian nightmare. Zamyatin's prose is poetic and deeply moving. This isn't just a book. It's a warning, a prophecy, and a love letter to human imperfection, all rolled into one. In our age of social media, conformity, and algorithmic control, D503's journey from mathematical certainty to chaotic humanity feels less like science fiction and more like autobiography. Your turn to discover the truth. So here's my challenge to you. Read, and then come back and tell me. Which world would you choose? The safety of the one state or the dangerous freedom of the Meki? And here's the really unsettling question: which world are we actually living in right now? Drop a comment below. What's the one freedom you'd never give up, no matter how much safety it could buy you? And if you've read what part of the one state felt most familiar to our current world? The revolution starts with a single thought, and Zamyatin's masterpiece is still the best place to begin. Get your copy of and join the conversation that's been raging for over a century. Some books entertain you. Others change how you see the world. We does both.